Well, it's one for the money, two for the show, three to get ready. Now go, cat, go, but don't you step on my blue suede shoe. You can do anything.
All right, cool. All right, welcome to Pioneer Coach. I'm going to take you on a little thing of if I hire you as a driver, co-driver, or what, relief driver. These are sort of the things of a little general introduction of what Pioneer Coach is about, what we expect, what I expect out of my drivers, and in general, when you're welcome to the team. So come on. This is the bus. I would take you to the coach first, and I would ask you, I expect all my drivers to do pre-trip inspections, typical inspections you would do with the DOT, or if you're taking your CDL, checking, making sure there's no stickers or cracks or breaks or whatever. Do your typical inspection. Make sure before you leave, to make sure if you need new wipers, you let the shop know so that they can put whatever it is that you need, you will get. I promise that. So you come to the coach and you're taking a look, and even if you're at a gig, you're making sure your tires. I expect that pre-trip inspection to look around, make sure your tires are good, there's no leak or grease or anything on it. Just double check if you've got a trailer on it and you want to go behind, make sure that you're not going to hit anything, or there's no one hanging out there between the tongue of the trailer and the back of the bus drinking a beer or something, because that stuff happens. So welcome, Pioneer Coach. Come into your bus. Also, we like a typical inspection. I expect the interior inspection, perfect, interior inspection to be done. And point out if you got new passengers or new to the thing, you point out things like where the fire extinguishers are, like there's one behind driver's seat and one in the back, in the cabinets in the back lounge, your emergency exits on both sides, in the front lounge, windows, and on the back if they're just pull-outs or pop-outs. Those are important things that people need to know. And where your first aid kit, like when our Pioneer Coach, we put them up in the front cabinets, so figure out where that is, and that the bus looks like it's in decent condition. So you always want to come early, always want to check everything. You are the hotel on wheels, so you are the full package. You're the dishwasher bottle, the chauffeur, the molly maid, the cleaning person, the tidy guy, the zen of all zen, the feng shui person. That's you. That's the driver, and I expect that from my drivers. I also expect my drivers not only to be that package, but technically be the smooth package when it comes to driving, i.e., and we'll get to that a little later, but i.e. idling around corners, very light on the fuel, very light on the brakes. Use all the equipment in the coach to assist you to do your job better. And also knowing, when to speak and when not to speak. If a tour manager puts you in an odd position, always be accommodating, and don't just say no. If you're going to say no to something and it's not safe, give them a couple of options to choose from, to offer them, like, hey, I can't bring you guys straight to the stage door because, but you know what, if I just go around here, you only have 100 feet, and then I can move back, and later, if I have to, I'll come back and move the bus. Give them options. I mean, that's what this whole service industry is about, is workability and being gracious with your workability. And in the end, the beauty of this whole industry is in a worst case scenario, you're only out with them for a month or 10 days or whatever, and then you just tell me or your boss, hey, I don't want to go out with those guys anymore, and guess what? I try and avoid it. But as long as you leave with a good taste and you leave those people with a good experience with you, and then you choose to move on, that's where you want to be, not the other way around, where it's like, don't ever send that driver out. I expect all my drivers to get requested back. So when you come on to Pioneer Coach's team, I expect you to be numero uno player, and I will help you get there. Just gotta, work with me on that. Okay. The other thing I wanted to, mention regarding Pioneer Coach, and probably most entertainer coach companies, in order to be successful, it's not just keeping a driver in an assigned coach and then just letting them go. It's also somewhat of a matchmaking effort, and lining the right drivers up with the right tours, and then also upselling the tour to match with the driver in the bus. And when a driver is assigned a coach, there's a great responsibility and a great amount of work and effort that will go into perfecting the 5 different parts that really make up a good entertainer coach driver, which not only is skill, the guy, whoever's assigned to coach, and this is what I expect my co-drivers is to learn from these full-timers, to learn from the young guns that have been around for a little while, the techniques of like smooth and really being gentle with the buses, especially with Prevost coaches, having independent air suspension. The bus definitely doesn't drive like, say, the old Eagles used to do. They definitely hug a road, but a coach like this, you have to really, really baby it and be gentle with it, and definitely find that wax on, wax off type. And that's just one part. That's just the driving portion, and learning when to use a Jake brake and when, or engine brake, and when not to, and when to gently go on the brake and or not to go on the brake and slow down a lot sooner before on stale green lights, or even taking off, not even pressing on the fuel when you're taking off. Just let the idle take it. And if you can find yourself get into that patient zone like that, and clover leaves and entering in and out of, or even backing up. I always say when you're in, put your vehicle in reverse, number 1, use your backup camera. Number 2, never put on the fuel. You should allow that vehicle to idle itself back, if not feathering on the brake while you're backing up. Your backing up should always have 4-way hazards on and docking lights, so that people know that there's something going on, and a little blast from the horn. All these little safety things, if you do them enough, they just become habit, and it makes you a better technical, skill-wise driver. That was only one part. Then the second part is having a good personality that can blend with people. And you'll notice, like in this industry, you'll get all kinds of characters, and you're living on the bus with them. And they all come out. I mean, have you ever been to Walmart at 3 o'clock in the morning? They all come out. Well, you'll be hauling them. So it's something to be aware of, and that's another portion of that entertainer coach technique that will come in, and it will come in through experience, that you'll know how to talk to people, when to talk to people, what to talk to people about. One of the biggest places that drivers get into trouble is they try and become friends with the band, and then they become a buddy. Well, the thing is, you always have to remember they hired you for a reason. You are their transportation, and they expect it to be safe, smooth, and for you to be clean, courteous. You're not there to go and drink with them. That's not your job. That's not why they hired you. I mean, they may invite you and you go party or whatever, and then next day you wake up in the morning and they go, oh, then they're talking about behind your back, and the next thing you know, you're flying home and wondering why you got kicked off a gig. Oh, I thought they were my friends. Well, no, you are hired as a professional, and you need to realize that is your job. I am a professional. And then, so that's that other part, and then there's the third part where you're Molly Maid, picking up after these people, you know, and I expect it. I expect clean sheets. I expect a real tidy bus all the time, every day. If you have to clean it 2-3 times a day, then you clean it 2-3 times a day. And then hopefully you lead by example, and there'll be a couple of people on the bus with you that'll go, you know what, I'm going to help him out. He just drove 600 miles or whatever, and then we start cleaning up for you. That's the biggest thing that I would say in this industry, or any industry, or even in your life, is to lead by example. Always take the higher road, and if you can do that, then I want to speak to you to become part of my team. But that's what I expect, the higher road all the time. And integrity. I expect people, you know, we make decent money, and I expect us to make decent money, and I also expect us to get paid for what we do. But when we don't do something, I never ask someone to pay me for that. If you don't clean the sheets, you shouldn't charge for it. If you don't wash the bus, you shouldn't charge for it. I mean, it's just honesty. It's being a person of integrity. I've had drivers where they fought over like co-drives or overdrives, and they've literally talked themselves out of a $30,000 gig over $400, which doesn't make sense to me. There is a give and take, and life is like that. There is an ebb and flow. If you're completely rigid, well, then I should say you'll never go over the speed limit. And you can't tell me that you've never, or anybody has never gone over the speed limit. It's not like that. There's an ebb and flow in life. Sometimes you're higher on the curve, and then sometimes you're lower. My trick is finding the middle ground. But integrity is super important, I think, and honesty is super important, and people will feed off that energy, and they'll get it. And if you're like that, I want to talk to you because I'd like you to be part of the Pioneer Coach team. Okay.